Thank you very much, BW, for giving me this opportunity. A very good evening to everybody. I hope everybody is taking care and staying safe. And I also hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir, we can.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah, so I know that there are a lot of experts who have spoken before me and also in the audience. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert on e-com by any stretch of imagination. But what I thought I'd do is use this opportunity to talk about how a category which is not very salient in a very booming platform like e-commerce, how can those two come together, and where we can apply some of the basic marketing principles to actually gain salience for a category like confectionery. Now, before I get into that particular aspect of it, I just thought I'll have one chart which gives a snapshot of what's been happening in this platform in the last couple of years. If you look at the left side, we're talking about 2020 when the pandemic actually started, and obviously no surprises with the various lockdowns and so on and so forth. E-com itself has seen a significant spike, right? And categories which were not very salient on e-com, especially in the FMCG space, started getting some really tremendous growths in the e-com space, and they have been quick to leverage that to the full extent. And no different for a category like confectionery, which actually was at the bottom of the chain when it came to e-commerce. And I'll explain why in the next chart. We also saw a lot of movement in terms of Tata Digital, for example, buying a big stake in Big Basket, or Reliance Geomart spreading its wings pretty widely by picking up NetMeds and stake in Milk Basket and so on. So clearly a lot of action had started in 2020, and that pretty much continued into 2021, where new dimensions started coming up, like quick commerce, with in terms of a 10-minute delivery and so on and so forth. And we saw some of the existing players becoming stronger and some new players like Zepto and so on coming into the picture as well. So a lot of action has been seen in this space, and I think it will only continue to grow faster and faster as we go into the coming months and years. If I were to double click on confectionery category, I think there are a few things that stand out as to why this category is got a very low salience when it comes to e-commerce. Number one, I think availability. Confectionery products is typically something that you go buy in a pawn shop or a neighborhood kiosk when you are outside, right? It is available anywhere, anytime. To just give a perspective, center fruit kind of a product is available in 4 million outlets across the country. And we directly serve about 1 million outlets across the country. So that's the kind of scale we have, right? Therefore, buying confectionery products in the house has been relatively lower. So since it doesn't get consumed at home, it also doesn't get stocked at home, and therefore people don't end up ordering it. So that's one big challenge that we have. The other challenge has been that most of our price points are at rupees 1. 80% of our sale comes from 1 rupee products. And given the high customer acquisition cost, when I'm buying a durable or even a soap or a shampoo, it still makes sense. But when you're buying a low price ticket item, a high customer acquisition cost makes the model very unviable. And of course, since it's a nascent category, there is not too much of channel shopper insights which is available. And last but not the least, the category itself, in terms of salience in India, as far as e-com goes, has not been very, very well developed, right? So these are some of the challenges that we were grappling with. But we also recognize the fact that e-com as a platform is gaining significant momentum. And the question was really, how do we use the existing marketing principles to play a far more bigger and deeper role in the e-com platform? So what did we end up doing? And I'll just share a few examples of it. The first thing was, of course, how can we continue to trigger impulse in our high impression assets as well? So whether it is through the use of banners, the presence in the homepage and so on, as you can see, how do we continue to build our category in a basic fundamental manner? The second part is, all our brands have their own campaigns which run on mainstream media and of course extended into digital media as well. So how do we drive category traffic from those social media campaigns that we do and link them in some form of the other with a buy now button back into actual purchase getting triggered? So that was one way of building shopper awareness for the category in general. The other piece actually was around, again, during the pandemic, there have been a lot of things that have been topically very relevant. So how do we take the core brand proposition and leverage that to the topicality in a platform in a way it makes sense? So again, let me give you an example. Center Fresh is all about providing fresh breath confidence, right? Now, during the pandemic, we've all been wearing masks most of the time, and therefore that also results in not so fresh breath. How can we stay fresh behind the mask is something that we've launched as a campaign in mainstream media. So what we did was we took that campaign and leveraged it in the ecom platform as well. So what you see here, say fresh behind the mask, or of course, most of us are working from home, and therefore we have end up doing a lot of video calls. How can we freshen up our work desk or stay fresh even while doing video calls, and so on and so forth. So take the brand essence, the brand core, but make it relevant to the platform and to the consumption occasion. The third piece is around, again, creating some more salience for the category itself. So, for example, we did a couple of interesting ones with Grofers, Blinkit, in terms of Candyland activation, where we created this lovely world called the Candyland, and then use that to propagate the salience and awareness for the category. The second is, of course, leveraging on existing days like a Valentine's Day, creating, of course, chocolates owns it in a big way. But again, how could confectionery, certain products like our jelly portfolio, play a bigger role in leveraging the occasion like a Valentine's Day? Uh, the other one, which is a very interesting example, is while days like Father's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, etc., have been appropriated by various categories and brands, we thought one day which is not been appropriated and which is so nicely integral to candies is actually Halloween. So what we did this time was we did a full-fledged 360 degree approach for Halloween, where we actually created a Halloween trick or treat pack, which was for the first time ever, fully leveraged it in social media through collaboration with various partners and also through mom influencers. Again, made our presence felt in through high impression assets, and which in general led to a lot of category development where the link between candies and Halloween got strengthened and in the relevant and meaningful platform. The, the other piece which has worked well for us is to invest in keyword searches. So, for example, these words don't necessarily have to be connected to confectionery. By identifying the right words which are linked to the benefit that our product category offers. So, for example, if you are about fresh breath, a related category is mouthwash. So, we invested in whenever a mouthwash was searched for, our banner or ad would appear at the bottom. So what happens is it triggers in a consumer's mind a clear linkage between fresh breath, mouthwash, and the category and our brand, so that they are able to then complete the loop in terms of a purchase. Or for example, in our portfolio, we have several brands which also offer sugar-free gums, for example, Happy Dent. So whenever somebody is searching for sugar-free in general, we are still able to put out our ads out there so that that connection is established and the loop is then closed. So these are a few ways in which we invested in keywords to actually enhance cross-category interventions and therefore get the salience going for the brand. Another one, like I mentioned in the beginning, 80% of our category operates at 1 rupee price point, right? So one of the big challenges was if you have to become viable at e-commerce, we need to make sure that we have a portfolio which is relevant, meaningful, and more importantly, at the right kind of price points. So what we did was we created over the last 1 year, 6 e-com exclusive packs, right? So for example, a pack like an Alpenliebe party pack, which is a ready-made assortment of products inside, which is perfect for any party where you don't have to go around buying different packs, right? Or a Halloween pack, which we spoke about, or a My Work Buddy, which is a pack of products which takes care of all your refreshment needs during your work day. So these kind of packs based on deep consumer insight have been created, which are at price points, say, for this category fairly high, 150 to 450 rupees, which then allows the consumer to actually buy the products online and makes the model far more viable. So these are a few ways in which we have actually managed to enhance the salience for a category like confectionery, which historically has been a fairly low salient category in the e-commerce platform. So what are the things in summary? How have we managed to, move the needle on in-home stocking and consumption through packs which are higher price packs? How have we managed to get the category salience going through the right kind of associations? For example, like Valentine's Day, or even appropriating days like Halloween? And how have we also managed to get over the thing of cross-category, interventions through specific keyword searches, which we have tried to appropriate? So those are a few thoughts that I wanted to leave you with. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to take that on. Thank you.